Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. So, I just saw this story just a few minutes ago, but it looks like we're getting another mommy movie with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz returning. It's like, wow. Honestly, I was just shocked by this because I didn't think it was ever going to happen, especially with the direction they went with these past few movies. But wow, I'm surprised. I mean, in the good way, but I'm like, wow, wow. So let's look at here with Variety here what they report here. So they say filmmakers Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, who call themselves Radio Silence, are set to direct the fourth installment in the decades old action franchise. So they are best known for doing the 2019 film Ready or Not. I saw that movie at the time. I say it's like quite enjoyable. And I see that there's a sequel coming out next year. Looking forward to that one. And they also did the last two Scream movies. Scream 5, which marketed itself as Scream as a reboot, even though it's a sequel. I didn't really get that. When I saw that movie at the time, I'm just like, I'm not a fan of this movie. And then with the last movie that came out, the sixth one, I did not bother to watch that one at all. But I heard it wasn't that great. And I see there's a new Scream movie coming out next year, so I'm curious what's going to happen to that in regards to the franchise. But anyways, we're talking about the Mummy here. So it says here Universal they had no comment on this. So they mentioned, yeah, that with both I can't even talk right now. But they say both Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, they were in the first two Mommy movies. So the first one came out in 1999. That was a reboot of the, I think it was like one of those old Mommy movies. I can't remember what year it came out. But yeah, that did well at the time. And also, too, yeah, the sequel did well too with The Mummy Returns. It came out in 2001. But then for the third one, The Tomb of Dragon Empire, that came out 2008. Only Brendan Fraser came back to that. Rachel Weisz, I guess she didn't. I wasn't sure if she chose not to or if she couldn't return to that. I don't remember the circumstances, but she was miscast. She was recasted in it with Maria Bello, I believe, playing that role. And yeah, the movie, that one was just not that great. Because I have like the first three Mummy movies of those and the Scorpion King because I came out as a set. This was at the time when the 2017 movie The Mummy with Tom Cruise, with that movie, the less said the better, because it came like with like this voucher, like I think it was like for IMAX ticket. I can't remember the voucher, but I used that to saw that movie at the time, which for me it's like one of the worst movies that came out at that year, but I think also too of the decade. But honestly, the less said with the Tom Cruise one, the better. It was hilarious that they tried to do this whole MCU nonsense with that with the Dark Universe. It's like what were they thinking with that? But anyways, let's move on from that. So and then it goes on to mention what happened Brendan Fraser and all that stuff. So I guess he mentioned at one point that he's open to returning to the role, but he says as long as someone came up with the right concept, essentially. And then he also commented back in 2022 why the Tom Cruise version of The Mummy failed. He said, quote, "It's hard to make that movie. The ingredient that we had going for our Mummy, which I didn't see in the new one, was fun. That was what was lacking in that incarnation. It was too much of a straight ahead horror movie. The Mummy should be a thrill ride, but not terrifying, scaring." I mean, he has a point. But I would say why it failed is because they tried to do this whole MCU nonsense with that, trying to do a franchise, which, I get that, like, with MCU being popular, almost every franchise wanted to copy that. But it goes to show, especially with this, that not everything is meant to be a connected universe. So yeah, completely missed the ball with that movie. But yeah, I'm just glad that, hey, Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are back for this. So it kind of makes me think, like, what's happening with the franchise overall. So this is from Wikipedia. So they mentioned here when they talked about this latest announcement that apparently it's going to reportedly ignore the Tomb of the Dragon Empire. I don't know if that's like, I get like you want to move on from that because it was like had the worst reception out of those three movies. But I don't know, because I guess they could just create their own story. They don't have to reference that movie specifically. They could just show them, in a different phase, like they're on a different adventure and all that, so to speak. But yeah, we'll just see what happens here. I'm assuming with this one, it's under Universal, but yeah, we shall see here. I saw what apparently there's like this new mummy movie that's supposed to come out next year. Uh, is called Lee Cronin's The Mummy, or simply The Mummy. This one here says it's a supernatural horror movie. This looks like it's under Blumhouse because Jason Blum and James Wan are producing it under Blumhouse and Atomic Monster. It stars Jack Rayner, Leah Costa, Veronica Falcon, and May Kalamawi. It looks like this one's going to be its own thing. This was under Warner Brothers, so I find this is interesting. Interesting. So there's no footage I've seen so far, or any first look photos as far as I'm aware of, but it looks like this one's going to be scary. It's not going to be quote unquote fun, as how Brendan Fraser put it, in terms of what was lacking, at least with the Tom Cruise movie. But it looks like this one's going to be straight up horror. But I'm really curious. So, like, if this one, let's say, were to do well, is that going to affect this upcoming movie that they're working on under Universal? I don't know, but we'll see what happens here. This is interesting. Interesting that they announced this as this one here is scheduled to come out next year, unless something happens. But yeah, this is interesting. But yeah, I'm excited for Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz to return to the franchise. So I imagine it's going to be like a new scenario, a new situation. Probably references to previous movies, but probably I imagine it's a new adventure, new villain, that sort of speak. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on all of this stuff in the description. Um, if you want to support me, visit buymeacoffee.com/Nomfanelo, where you could donate and also to look at exclusive posts there. Also, too, I do have a community tab on YouTube, so if you're a subscriber to the channel, feel free to leave comments there as long as it's under community guidelines. And if you want to follow me on social media, my links are in the description. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you on the next one.